Hey everyone, welcome to the MotoAlliance podcast. I'm Peter Kapsner, the president of MotoAlliance, and delighted to be joined again by Dean Schliek, who runs the Minnesota ATV riding community on Facebook. And Dean, you have how many people that are part of this community? It's a lot.
This week we actually just broke 27,000 members, so it's just a few of us, you know, getting out and riding and enjoying the sport.
It's amazing. Do you know if most of the 27,000 are concentrated in certain parts of Minnesota? Is it all over Minnesota? Where are most of the people from?
So we have a pretty good following from all over. Actually, we've got members from as far as, you know, the Canadian border. We've got a lot of people that come to our group that are from other states. Most of our audience or our following is primarily central Minnesota. That's, you know, the north side of the Twin Cities and Brainerd area. So that's where most of our traffic comes from. You know, everybody wants to get out, and it's not too far to get to the good trails and stuff from that location. So that's really the heart of our membership, central Minnesota.
Yeah, and boy, we've just gotten so pounded with snow this entire winter all over Minnesota. You guys, I think, like sort of north of St. Cloud, it feels like there's an additional version of a snow band that hits you guys in just the feet of snow. I know you're anxious for some spring riding. We're recording here on the 31st of March. A lot of times this time of year, I would think some of the trails are opening, but I would imagine we're still quite a ways away from opening for you guys up there, right?
Oh, absolutely. We have a lot of trails that open April 1st. Snowmobile season closes midnight on the 31st, and then a lot of those dual-use trails will open on April 1st to ATVs. But it's going to be a few extra weeks. We've got plenty of snow this year. It's been a good year for snowmobiling. It's going to be a rough start for four-wheeling, but that's right.
Are you dying to get out, though? I mean, you must be looking at I'm sure you get out in the snow and plow and all of that, but it's a whole different jam to be out on the trails.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we have a lot less, you know, trail stops when it's 10 degrees outside versus when it's, you know, 70. So it's going to be nice to get out and just be able to put some miles on and not have to worry about freezing.
And remind me again of the fleet of machines you have in your house. And do you have your eye on any new ones out there right now? Thank gosh, if I could just get that one for no charge at all, that's the one I want.
So right now I got the 2018 Razor XP 1000 4-seater. And that one's, you know, got the windshield but no cab. So that one's kind of that's the summer rig.
Yep.
Then we have a 2021 Polaris Ranger North Star crew cap, and that's the workhorse. That's the one we got the 72-inch Denali blade on, and it takes care of all the maintenance around the house. It's nice to have that heated cab, and you know, we use that one pretty much all year, but it's usually just the workhorse, you know,
yep.
And keeps us warm in the wintertime and keeps us nice and cool in the summertime, but there's nothing that beats the thrill of riding that Razor XP through the trails around here.
Oh man, and I know you like to say, and I agree with you, that there's no wrong machine, there's no wrong opinion about what machine you want. You just want to be out in the community riding and enjoying people's company and getting out. I will say we had a Can-Am X3 in our facility this last week. And we had, I think, both a 4-seater version and then a smaller 2-seater version. And Alicia, the producer here of the MotoAlliance podcast, is nodding her head yes. It was an orange X3 Can-Am. And I'll say, Dean, that thing, we work with a lot of riders who bring their machines in so we can outfit it with our different MotoAlliance products. If I was going to embezzle something, I would embezzle that machine. I would have just taken that thing and just ran with it. It was a sick-looking machine. I really like that one.
Yeah, those Can-Am X3s they're one of my favorites too. You know, that's we like to ride everything. I got a Can-Am Outlander in the garage. We've got Yamahas, we've got Polaris's. You know, that X3 is definitely a sweet machine, and the new Can-Am Maverick is even a pretty cool machine. I like that one too. So it's, you know, the good thing is there's a different machine for almost every different rider, you know.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of options out there, and that makes it hard for you guys trying to outfit everybody's machine. But that's part of the game.
It is part of the game, and you're not wrong. Our engineers are always on their toes for sure, and there's just different trim levels and slight modifications and platforms from time to time, and people put stereo systems in and all that kind of stuff. So to have product for all of them is a fun challenge, but what it does is it pulls us into conversations with all kinds of riders from everywhere. And I'll say this, you have been so helpful, Dean, in connecting us with people that have various levels of machines that we have coming in and out. And I would imagine even for you in helping, you get to be part of the community in a different kind of way then.
Oh, absolutely. And like you say, it's been a long winter, so it's given me something to do. So it's always fun, and like I said, to have the community that we do, that everybody seems like they're more than willing to help. You say, hey, the guys over at MotoAlliance are looking for this machine. They want to do some test product on it, and everybody's, yeah, for sure. Let me know. I'll help them out. Love the idea. So we got a great community behind us. So
you really do, and it's just been so fun to be a part of it. One more comment before we get into some of the spring events that I know you want to highlight today. But when you think about getting back on the trails, what are the two things that you've missed the most about being on the trails, given this this winter that's been 36 months long now? Like what have you missed most about being on the trails? Maybe two things.
Well, so the biggest thing I've missed is just getting out, especially. There's something about getting out earlier in the morning, like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and getting that fresh air in your lungs, and it's quiet up here. It's you're out in the woods. It's like serenity.
Yeah.
And that it's going to be a good day because you're just going to spend the whole day hanging with your friends, riding some great trails, and just enjoying what Minnesota has to offer for scenery. And that's one of the biggest things that I miss. And then honestly, the second thing that I miss is getting a little dirty. Putting some mud on that machine, getting it all dirty, and just having fun, getting out there and making the memories. I've got we always bring some kids with us, and they love it. They love getting dirty. We'll put the boys on a four-wheeler and just turn them loose. And they love it. So, spending time with the family.
That's so. I have 5 kids actually, and we were just talking about it yesterday. That with all of this stuff in the news that I follow to some degree about AI and Chat GPT and all of this and sort of taking over the world, I was telling my 17-year-old yesterday. I thought I can't think of any great reason to continue to be on the internet that much more anymore. I mean, definitely cell phones, be in touch with friends, and all of that. But if you told me that I could shut my computer forever and just get out into the woods and into the wilderness and get dirty and all of that. For kids to grow up in that kind of environment is so different than the always plugged in environment that so many of them are just part of every day.
Absolutely. And we're fortunate to live where we live, that, the woods it literally is in our backyards, and everybody in Minnesota, we've got access to some of the best forest in the country, really. I mean, right in our backyard. So
yeah.
It's important to get out there and spend that time with your kids and family and make those memories. There's a lot of people that will never get to make those memories through that type of experience up here. So
well, and I know, and I'm assuming you take them along to some of the spring events that are coming up. What do you? It's June. I know you've got a big one, right? But there's probably some other ones. What are we looking forward to here in the next couple months in the Minnesota scene for some of the events?
Yeah, so we'll be doing some events this spring. A lot of trails we gotta get them cleaned up and de-thawed and make sure they dry up before we dig ruts all the way to China. But we'll be hopefully we're shooting for the 20th of May. We're gonna go over to Red Top, which is probably one of the closer trail systems to the North Metro, just outside of Isle, outside of Mille Lacs Lake.
Yep.
And we do an event there every year with the state association it's called the Ride and Roast, and it's pretty fun. We've got about 5 different guided rides, and you could go on a guided ride or you can ride on your own. We've got it's right off the Sioux Line Trail that takes you up to Red Top Trail System, which is 35-40 miles of trails and then you can continue further and go up to Solana Loops, which is another 25 miles of trails. You could ride all day, then come back. We have a big pig roast and a turkey roast, and feed everybody. And it's a great time. We got door prizes and stuff. It's just kind of a big kickoff to the start of the riding season. So it kind of gets everybody all jacked up for a great summer ride, you know. And then they get fed some food and win some free stuff, and it's a good time.
So I have to confess, and Alicia, I don't know, have you ever been to a proper pig roast? Like, I just have this picture of this gigantic animal on a spit over a fire that Dean has like cut down a forest and he's roasting this pig thing. Have you ever been to a pig roast? I have not.
No, I have not. I'm intrigued. I want to witness this.
Yeah, I do too. So what's the outcome? Do you just carve up this pig and you've got like bacon and pulled pork and like everything? Like, what happens here, Dean? I'm revealing my unbelievable lack of wilderness knowledge right now as I'm sitting here in some cushy suburb of Minneapolis. Oh my word.
Well, it's not quite that. I don't want to say barbaric, but we do have a big smoker that we'll smoke pork butts in, and we'll smoke 24 pork butts, and then we pull it apart, and we have pulled pork sandwiches, and then we have pulled turkey sandwiches, and of course you gotta have the baked beans. If you don't have baked beans, you're not at a Midwest barbecue.
That's true.
So
that's true.
We'll have the baked beans, then we'll have some dinner rolls, and we finish it off with a big cake, and it's a good time.
Oh man! So Spencer Goodwin, one of our engineers at MotoAlliance, he's a huge hunter, and so he has been just rubbing it in every day. He got himself a few deer this last year, and he's been just bringing in pulled venison, and it just is melt in your mouth kind of thing. And what would you, Alicia? I think he's maybe shared one shred of that like literally, Dean, it's been one shred of venison. It's not a sandwich, it's nothing. And so I would imagine you guys are far more generous, that if we were able to come up and join you, that we would get a proper pulled pork sandwich right from there, right?
Oh, absolutely. We make sure nobody leaves hungry.
I love that. Hey, I mean, with these kind of events, I know I was talking with your friend Dave Halsey a bit too. Just I know he runs quite a bit of great promotional materials for the Minnesota ATV scene in the magazine as well. He brought to my attention that and you've talked about this in the past, that there's ongoing legislation that may limit access to trails, or it seems like the government kind of wants to get involved on some level. Is there any latest update on this? Any concerns that we have about this upcoming year, about being able to gather this way, trails open, all of that?
So there was a little bit earlier this season about a proposed legislation that would definitely hurt our trails. As far as I know, that's been they've kind of pigeonholed that at the moment, but there's always a need for representation on a political level, unfortunately. But you know, we've got a great state association that stands behind the riders, and you know, we try our best to make sure that our voice is heard at the Capitol, because as everybody knows, it always, no matter what, it always seems like it comes down to politics. You know, we have over 4,000 miles of trails in Minnesota that are publicly funded. They're publicly maintained. It's public land. So we want to make sure that we keep that open to all of our riders. You know, we've got we got 370,000 plus registered ATVs in the state of Minnesota, which ironically is almost double the amount of snowmobiles that are registered in Minnesota.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, the sport has really taken off and grown here in Minnesota in the last 5-10 years, and we're doing everything we can to make sure that we can maintain what we have but still continue to grow.
Yeah.
So our goal is to make Minnesota one of the best in the nation for a destination to come ride.
Well, yeah, no, sorry. I was just going to say, too, that I noted with interest this last week that the two counties that were losing population in Minnesota were Hennepin and Carver counties. And for whatever reasons you might think that might be, but independent of that, people are increasingly moving to more rural sorts of settings in Minnesota. Dean, I would have thought 15 years ago rural land would continue to empty towards the cities, but we're seeing the opposite happen right now. So I think the community will continue to grow, like you're saying.
Yeah, and like it's been good for up here because a lot of our counties in northern Minnesota have adapted rules and regulations that allow ATV traffic on on county roads or on township roads. It's really kind of growing the sport in a way to where it's more utilitarian and recreation. So it's going in the right direction for us at the moment. So we just want to make sure that keeps going our way.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one of the things I know you mentioned you wanted to talk about a little bit too, and was just the new product line that you've really helped us get going as people are on the trails, the need for cargo and cargo spaces. I don't think I fully understood, even though being in this industry for the last 19 years, I didn't understand how important proper cargo solutions can be and how limited so many of the solutions are out there. So you've been really helpful. And we've talked about it in the past podcast that we bought out Gemco products. We are rebranding it as Highlands Cargo, and we have about 30 or 40 SKUs in process right now. But boy, you've been so helpful finding machines that we can go out and scan the beds and try to create, rather than just a box to put in the back, really customized solutions that add to the aesthetics of the machine. And also are functional for cargo. So it's been really fun to work with you on this. I know you wanted to talk about that a bit too.
Yeah, it's been fun working with Jake and Spencer and the rest of the guys on the team to kind of give those guys an idea and just kind of watch it go into conception and even into to molding. It's a fun process to be part of. And myself and Ben, my friend Ben, we really feel like we're part of the team. And it's become a personal project. And we're excited to see every little change, every little adjustment, and just to make sure that we're helping you guys get the perfect product, because storage is a huge thing, especially up here. Referring back to, I can't wait to get out and get muddy. That doesn't mean I want to get all of my stuff muddy.
Right. Well, and we've got our Polaris General one adding to the family here in about 2 weeks or so. We've got the prototype on the machine on Tuesday. Alicia will get all the photos and lifestyle stuff. So I'm sure that you and I will work together to put some of those pictures out there. But don't tell Ben this, and I'm not even going to reveal all of it. But we had Ben's Sportsman, obviously, in our facility. And we have the cargo box coming for the Sportsman 850, 1000, and the touring and everything. But we have a little surprise for Ben as part of that process, too. So we're very much looking forward. I think that one will be ready towards the end of May, maybe a little sooner than that. But we'll have to get him on the podcast, too, after he gets the first box for no charge, with just a little shout out to him, too. So we're pretty excited for this.
Yeah, that'll be awesome, because this has been, this has been something that he's been working on for a long time, doing a lot of research, and we're like, well, let's get with the boys from MotoAlliance, because we saw what you guys were producing, and we're like, this is the right team we need to work with. And I'm excited to see what the final product is.
Yeah.
So he'll be over the moon. I know it.
Yeah, I can't wait. I just can't wait to see it. Well, one more quick question before I let you go. I can't let go of this whole pig idea. I'm totally mesmerized by it right now. Are you close enough, or do you ever go to Piers, Minnesota, and Thielen Meats? Is that anything familiar to you at all?
The world famous.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Right. Because it's the best bacon ever from that place.
Yeah. I think that town is built around the meat market.
I think it is too. My parents grew up, at least my dad grew up in right around Piers, last strip, just sort of to the, I think the slight east of Piers. My mom grew up in Buckman, just a teeny little town. But my whole childhood, Dean, was basically, it revolved around when the next trip would be to that neck of the woods, going to the old bank, all sorts of other places. And then my grandfather ran the hardware store Hartman's, and he was the accountant. And he would take $5 out of the till and give it to us to just spend wherever. I'm pretty sure there's nothing about that was legal, but my grandfather, God rest his soul, would just take money out of the till, and my brother and I would get to go shopping, and then we would go to Thielen Meats, and the bacon was and is to this day absurd.
Yeah, and I don't think I don't think meat markets are as popular around the country, but in the Midwest, especially in Minnesota, the meat market's like, that's our candy store.
Totally
It's like
is.
the meat market is a rite of passage in Minnesota.
It
You got to check them out.
It is. Alicia, I think that maybe for one of the episodes of the MotoAlliance podcast this summer, we need to broadcast live from Thielen. Just go sit in the meat market. Just get Dean and Ben and a few people there, and just I'm sure we can persuade the Thielen meat owners to be on live, and we'll just partake of so many of their different meats. Right? It's a great idea.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I know, like on your resume before we hired you, we did ask if you were a carnivore, and that was a really important piece of the puzzle. I mean, right? I respect the vegetarians of the world and stuff, but man, I like to eat out with the carnivores. I don't know about you.
Yeah. Well, we got to stay hardy up here through these long winters. So
I love it. Well, dude, this is a blast as always. I love how often we get a chance to interact just on all the machines during the week, and it's fun to chat on the podcast with you. We'll get this up and running here probably next week and send it over to you for some of the channels. But would love to just keep doing this with you and anybody else you feel like it would be good to have a voice as part of the Minnesota community, because it really is a great riding community.
Oh, absolutely, man, and we appreciate the invite. Any publicity that we can bring to the sport just helps grow the sport.
That for sure
Get more
does.
people involved, and the more we get involved, the more people we can share it with, the more people we can meet and have fun with.
Yeah.
So.
No, well said. This has been the MotoAlliance podcast. We'll catch you again soon with all things ATV riding.